Hey guys, this is a personal update. You can ask me anything you want in this video, and I'll try to respond to as many comments as I can. So, to answer the most common question, I stopped posting because life got really busy and I wanted to return when I could post consistently again and still give the same quality tutorials. As far as the goals of the channel, I've started with a few deep programming tutorials, but I will try to expand to things like HTML5, JavaScript, and Python. I'm currently working on updating my website to aggregate information from other resources like the OpenCourseWare movement. The goal of my tutorials has always been to get people up and running fairly quickly so they can start playing with it. One of the things I try to emphasize in the D tutorials, for example, is quickly seeing the input and output instead of me just telling you what you should expect something to do. It's a lot easier to learn by observing the behavior directly. As far as long-term goals, I want to keep tutorials updated based on community feedback. For example, old tutorials could be improved by adding information or replacing a confusing explanation with a more efficient one. We could also do things like multiple videos teaching the same things but in different ways. Or assuming not everybody is a beginner, we can have some advanced tutorials too. But more importantly, you guys are what makes this channel special. Without you, this is just another empty YouTube channel. So let me know what's your favorite thing about this channel and what you'd like to see the most. So I've been working on a lot of stuff since I was gone. For example, Elite Skills is an old writing site I made back in 2003, and one of the things that got really popular was the roleplay site. It has about 900 active people, and it's approaching 15 million posts. It was completely rewritten in MySQL, PHP, and it uses Erlang as a chat server for each thread. I've completely revamped a lot of the ear training stuff at trainear.com. I have a whole bunch more trainers, I have statistics, I have piano visualization, and a whole bunch of other features and songs. So if you like ear training, check it out. I've been working a lot with HTML5. This is an HTML5 based WebSocket server. So basically multiple people can connect and we can chat with each other and move around the map, and it'll update everybody's map so everybody sees just about the same thing. It's pretty nice. ActionScript is what I made the old ear trainer in, but this is completely JavaScript. So the benefit is companies like Apple can't say, okay, we can't let you use Flash because we want more money for the App Store. Now you can write it completely in HTML. HTML5, and you can have the same functionality of multiplayer and make it distributed so that everybody sees the same thing. I actually made this a while back, but Chrome updated their specification for WebSockets and I had to change it back, so now it works with WebSockets and Comet. I got bored and I made a Skyrim Alchemy Recipes Finder when I first started playing the game, so you can check that out. If you've ever played Skyrim, you have a whole bunch of ingredients you can combine to make a potion, and this kind of shows you what's available. It has all kinds of filters and nifty stuff. It's made in HTML5 boilerplate and JavaScript. It doesn't have a backend, it doesn't have anything else. It uses jQuery UI for the buttons. And LastEDU is a high-level HTML thing I made. It's basically a parser. So what it does is it takes something like this, h1 content, and it turns it into this. It gives a simple expansion, but this syntax is a little slimmer than this syntax. Now that by itself wouldn't be reason to switch or trade off, but I added a bunch of stuff like you can transpile to CoffeeScript, TypeScript, Markdown, basically anything. Like for example right here, this MD means everything after this will be interpreted as Markdown. And I also have TypeScript, CoffeeScript. I could add ClojureScript, Elm, or any other transpiler for JavaScript. It doesn't really matter. But it has really nifty stuff, like for example, this is a simple table, so instead of using TRTD, you can just type table, and you use a delimiter like this to make it bold, or like this for a normal column. It makes things quite a bit simpler this way sometimes. It adds indexes like Wikipedia like indexes, so anything that starts with an H tag will be added to the index, and it has an index hierarchy. It also has stuff like Google Fonts, so we import a Google font, then we can use a Google font. It has references, it has syntax highlighting. It's basically something useful that I want to implement on stuff that I make in the future, like a blogging software or a different type of site where people can post content. The most interesting thing I've done is probably a crawler in Erlang. Erlang is an awesome programming language, specifically for making servers. Anything that requires hundreds of thousands of connections, like multiple people connected to a game, a web server, or in this case a crawler, where you're making tons of connections to different sites, it's awesome because it can spawn hundreds of thousands on a regular desktop PC. In a normal programming language, it's really difficult because if you use some kind of threading library, each thread might eat up maybe 1 megabyte or more, so you only have a few hundred threads at most. But Erlang doesn't have that limitation, and it can easily use all the cores. So the cool thing is, I just select some random website, and I can grab any part of that website using jQuery selectors or HTML5 selectors. So basically, if I want every link on the page, I can just type, give me every anchor text on the page, and give me the HTML of it. And if I want to be more specific, give me all the anchor tags that have the class title in them. And that'll give me every single link on Reddit. And I can be more specific, like inside a paragraph tag, I want all anchor tags with a class that has subreddit in it. And I forgot to put HTML. And that'll give me all anchor tags that contain the class subreddit. And I can do all kinds of nice things. If I want the actual HTML, I just change the attribute. And so this is a lot easier than parsing things in regular expressions. So now that I have this, it feels really easy to parse and aggregate data.